The next item I'll be testing is an emergency blanket. These blankets are good for whenever you need something to warm you up quickly while you're either camping outdoors or you're on a hike and it's gotten a lot colder than you thought. So it may look like nothing now because it's very small and it's small packaging, but once I take it out, it becomes a huge blanket. Now, you may be wondering, how is this going to be a blanket? It has nothing worn about it, has like no fleece, nothing. Well, the material it is really good at trapping body heat in and not letting any out. So while it may not look like your standard blanket you're used to, sorry, a piece of paper went flying, it is very good for keeping air trapped in, or keeping heat trapped in. So now I'm going to take my temperature with the heat gun, and then I'm going to have this on me for 20 minutes, and then after that 20 minutes, I'm going to see if there's any temperature change. Now, the heat gun will not be accurate to my temperature, the body temperature I have, but it will change according to how it's measuring. So it will still change accurately. Whereas the temperature might not be accurate, it will still change accurately, so you'll be able to see a heat increase, or no increase at all. So now let's get started. As you can see, the blanket is pretty big and will be able to cover most of my body. Now, it's made out of mylar, which holds together the material that then reflects the heat in. So it kind of may look like tinfoil, but it feels totally different than tinfoil. So right now, my forearm is measuring at 86, sorry, the temperature changed. It's measuring at 85.4 degrees. So after 20 minutes, we're going to check to see if my temperature's changed at all. So now I'm going to put the blanket on. The issue I found with the blanket is that it was difficult to get out of the bag whenever having gloves on, and it was hard to unfold with having gloves on. So it makes it a bit more difficult for whenever you need it in cold weather, which is when you'll most likely need this, since it's a blanket for keeping you warm. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of 20 minutes with me having the blanket on while I work on my fire starter for another video for this project. So I didn't actually end up using the fire starter while doing this, just so the blanket wouldn't stay on. And something to note here, you can see I just have trouble keeping it on. If I was actually in the wilderness, I would probably hide behind like a big rock or tree so the wind gets blocked. So 20 minutes is over, so I'm going to take my temperature again. Wow, it went up all the way to 90 degrees. And so during the time lapse, as you saw, I actually switched my technique from having the whole blanket over me to just wrapping my arm, because I struggled with keeping the wind from blowing the blanket. And so also, what I felt during those 20 minutes is this hand actually kind of started to feel sweaty when it was in there, the one that was in the blanket. Well, the one that was outside, it was freezing cold, and I started to go numb because of how cold it was. I think if I found a better way to have this over my whole entire body, to keep my whole entire body at that temperature that my arm was at, I think it would even actually go up after more than 20 minutes. Yeah. Overall, I think the blanket was really good. The only problem is with gloves is trying to deal with it because it's more slippery in gloves. And another thing is keeping the wind from moving. Yeah. Thank you.